When the Western world thinks of women's fashion in Iran, this is what we picture. In reality, this is how the majority of women in Iran dress out on the streets. This is how they dress behind closed doors for parties that technically shouldn't be happening. And this is how they feel, fighting for a sense of identity denied them since 1979. Fueled by the anger risen from an uneven distribution of wealth, the revolution of '79 made many changes to Iran's geopolitical climate. On an international level, it began an avalanche of sanctions which would slowly deteriorate the country's economy, an economy dependent on oil revenues. While America has held sanctions against Iran since 1979, trade was possible and indeed profitable with other nations. Recently, however, actions taken by SWIFT have turned a once friendly Europe against Iran. To stop countries from importing Iranian oil, sanctions have been put in place blocking Iranian banks from using SWIFT for their financial transactions. What does this mean for Iran's economy? By kicking out Iranian banks from their system and denying the country the ability to do business in US dollars, SWIFT has begun to cripple a once booming Iranian market. Lacking the currency to buy foreign goods, Iran has been forced into a resistive economy in the hopes of tightening their fiscal belt, increasing industrial output, and promoting technological innovation. Struggling with sky-high inflation, the rial has dropped in value by 80%, losing one-third of its exchange value against the US dollar. Iran has created multiple exchange rates in response, allowing people to get dollars more cheaply if they are importing essential goods. One US dollar is worth 12,000 rials, but only if being used to buy essentials such as medicine. The actual exchange rate, now functioning largely on the black market, is closer to 35,000 rials for each US dollar. Taxes account for 43% of government revenues and 7% of Iran's GDP. The current flat-rate corporation tax is 25%. Taxation in Iran generates particular unease among foreign firms because they appear to be arbitrarily enforced. Despite this dismal news, Iran's retail industry has been recording exceptional growth over the past few years, attracting various international retailers. Iran's young population and high disposable income are the biggest contributing factors to this growth. With diminishing outlets for self-expression, women have become creative about expressing their individuality. Many turn to shopping as a sanctuary. Western retailers such as Zara have learned firsthand the extent to which Iranian women will go to feel beautiful. Since opening their Tehran location, Zara has shown significant profit gain. In short, the numbers and charts don't necessarily show the needs and desires of consumers in Iran. While on paper it may seem foolish to open a store in the country, the reality is the wealthiest members of the population have money to spend, time to spend it in, and a deep need to fill in doing so. Ask any current Tehran resident what business they would take to Iran if they had a choice, and the answer is unanimous: fashion.